in video replay that they have in the business. Get yourself hooked up. It's amazing. Also, Diving 101, episode number 2 of the Diving Pod.
And our other sponsor is Crossbar. Go to divingpod.com. You'll be able to check out everything they have to offer. As far as signups, as far as camps, clinics, things like that. You can post articles, which is what Aaron and I do. Those would probably serve as more of news updates for a club team. But without further ado, we are going to do a watch along here for the men's 10-meter event. It's the last event of Winter Nationals. And we're just going to kind of watch along, highlight some dives we see, and just kind of just shoot the shit. So see how it goes.
Yeah, timestamp. What is it for the people there? Is 144:15.
Yep.
So get YouTube up, go to 144:15, have us up in the background. You get to enjoy the commentary while we watch, and then we'll talk about a whole bunch of other things. So again, 144:15, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, play. We got Nick Stone kicking us off with a 52, 53B. I had this dive in fantasy. Let's go. It was a good one. I'm excited about that. Probably going to beat his prelim score of 46.4.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's see here. Get
Judges taking their time on this one.
Yeah. Something that's an interesting thing to keep an eye on as the event progresses, Rooney, is Jordan Rzepka switched out a lot of they didn't announce, or it's not up there on the board. So I will try to take a look at that to let you know. So at this event, Jordan Rzepka did an easier list in the prelim. He only did 107B, and then on top of that, he did 52-55B, and he did not do triple out or front 4.5 tuck.
He did 52-55?
Yeah, 52-55.
Huh. Yeah, I guess instead of triple out. That makes sense.
Nick did up his score. He went 52-8 on that.
Love that. Way to go, Nick.
So we're good there. Yeah, so I'm kind of just excited to see how it plays out for this event. But I'm waiting for the board to update.
I know it's really hard when the board doesn't update, and we're kind of like, well, who's diving?
It'll update eventually.
There we go. Maybe now it's all black. But yeah, as we just kind of, I think we can treat this a little bit as a recap of Winter Nationals as well. Oh, that was a cool dive. I didn't know.
Stone.
That was a sweet dive.
Oh, was that his back 3.5 with a half twist?
Yeah, Derek Colbert.
So cool.
52-71C.
It was awesome when I watched that in prelim. I'm like, oh, that's dope.
The scoreboard's updating now too, so that is wonderful.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we can just kind of recap all the events. We did one of these watch alongs last night for women's 10-meter and men's 3-meter. It was awesome. Go check out YouTube if you want to watch that. We tried to do it as a podcast, but we forgot to hit record. So it's just YouTube for that. So it was a little longer one. We watched both events. So make sure you get over there, watch it. It was entertaining. We had Dylan Reed join us as well as Ben Moldoff.
Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed last night. It was definitely a little bit long, but it was really fun.
Yeah, I started to fade away. I go to bed so early, man. Like I'm an 8:30 kind of guy, and it was 9 before we were done. And I was done. So
I'm excited because I'm excited we picked this one as the event for us to watch because I feel like there could be a lot of movement. I mean, after the prelim, it went Josh, Andrew Bennett, Max Flory, Max Weinrich, Collier Dwyer, Caden Springfield, Tyler Wills, Jordan Rzepka was in 8th. Tanner from Texas was in 9th. So it was
Jordan just smoked his inward. That was really, really good.
It's like this event just can have so much movement, and that's like fun. I think it's fun.
80 points for Rzepka's inward. He got a 9. Let's go.
Nuts.
That's sick. Yeah, tell me a little bit about, so the first events were 1 meter, both men's, women's. What do you have as far as noteworthy items for those events?
Good question. Noteworthy items. I mean, I think that wasn't like the kickoff to Jack's meet because he did synchro, but like I felt like that was kind of a kickoff for him and the individuals.
Yeah.
For him just having a huge weekend. Also, I think we'd be remiss to not like joke around about Andrew and Tyler kind of doing some throwaway dives at the end.
Dude, that was awesome. I think we for sure got to talk about that.
Yeah, like I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was really cool seeing Andrew like laugh and smile on the diving board during competition. Like I messaged him that. And like he was on the board, they're announcing 52:27, and like he is smiling and laughing. And I just feel like we are so accustomed to seeing Andrew just stone face, ready to murder the dive, that to see him smiling and laughing was kind of like something I wasn't expecting, and it was really cool to see. What about you?
Yeah,
For
for
men,
sure. So Springfield just went on that twister. I know somebody's got that in fantasy.
Ben had that.
65.6. So that was an improvement.
That wasn't.
Um, yeah, I enjoyed. So it was interesting to kind of read through the tea leaves of number one, why they were competing, and number two, why they did the dives that they did. And so allegedly, like in order to secure funding or keep funding, they needed to compete. I don't know, the full details behind any of that. So what it looks like to me is, they did lists that met the degree of difficulty criteria, and they just had a little fun with it. We saw Tyler Downs do a double out lead up, so it was 51-44. Obviously wasn't like the greatest dive in the world. He even kind of goofed on himself a little bit in his Instagram post, which I absolutely loved. And then Andrew Capobianco did 52-27D, and he made the final, so we got to see that dive twice.
Just crazy.
Uh, it was just, I don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun way to see kind of our two elite springboard divers, that aren't Jack Ryan and Quinn Henninger and Carson Tyler, just like show us like being an athlete, right? They did some different things, and it was like, man, they can kind of pull it out of nowhere. Oh wow, Max Weinrich with a 78.107B.
Literally,
That's crazy.
so far, every single dive that we have all had has improved. Like I had Collier Dwyer's inward, and it went like 4 points higher, and that just went 3 points higher for your fantasy list.
Wow.
Yeah, but go ahead and continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I just it was entertaining. I thought it actually added value to the meet itself and the event. Obviously we love watching 1 meter, and the fact that those guys were just kind of doing some different things, it drew my eyes in. Like, okay, um, Tyler Downs is doing a 203B. In my mind, he should smoke this. And he did. It was amazing. And then he also did 52-33D. And it was great. Like, he did a couple of dives that I don't normally see him do because he's capable of much more difficult ones. So it was fun to see that. And then obviously the double out lead and Andrew's back 3.5 twister to his feet. I mean, it's just fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I definitely, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I also, and then when you flip the page to the women's meet, I was really interested in kind of continuing to see this. Not it, yeah, it's like a breakout for Anna, Anna Kwong from TCU. Like I feel like every time we see her, she's getting better. Every time we see her, she keeps improving. And like what I think she was in second place after the prelim, and then what does she do? Instead of like, hey, I'm gonna do the same exact list and be competitive to try to maybe win, I'm gonna throw massive dives. Like she did 107, she did 305, and she did 405 in the prelim, but she added full out for finals. Like loved it
Yeah.
for it.
That's
Um,
nuts, man. That's so cool. I'm a big Anna fan.
and Mia just looked good. Like I thought
Yeah.
Mia looked good, steady. Like she talked a lot in Instagram about like just having fun, and she looked great. So
Yeah,
from that perspective, that was a big takeaway I had. And Haley was just rock solid as always.
yeah, it's definitely worth giving Mia some flowers as well. She was the
Yeah.
champion of the event. Now, because she is Canadian, she doesn't get to go home with a medal or
They
stand
did
in
give her
the.
one though. I saw
I,
on Instagram, which is
yeah, on
wild.
Instagram, they must have had an extra medal and they gave it to
Yeah.
her, which is awesome. I love seeing that, but doesn't get to stand on the podium because it is the United States Nationals. So that's why you saw those people that were 1, 2, 3 on the USA Diving social media accounts.
Yep. Back to the scoreboard not working up here, I noticed.
Yeah, I see that. It's stuck on Max Weinrich, and we're on
But
round two with um,
let me
Mr. Stone.
let me jump back. I kind of want to jump back here and look at the women's meet and the men's 1 meter finals and see if anything else kind of stuck out. Sophie Verzile continues, but honestly, Lainey Gutch from UNC, like
Yeah,
really having a big like last like few months here, which I think is pretty awesome.
that
Um,
it just like to me that emergence of Laney Gutch. I mean, it's sustained, right?
yeah,
We've seen her do well in the college level and at international meets, and now all the best of the best in the United States were here, and it still held up. So she's legit, man. She's here to stay. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, the other two things as I look at results here, we talked about him. I thought we talked about him quite a bunch actually last night. Is Zach Welsh.
Yeah,
Um, first year at Purdue, doing really, really well. Finaled on 1 meter, got ninth, and also finaled last night on 3 meters. So I thought that was a big story. And also, I actually didn't even realize this, and I feel bad that I didn't realize this. Sam Duncan got fourth on 1 meter, like still there, still doing awesome. So I thought that was pretty cool as well.
yeah, for sure. Big fan of both those guys. I mean, Zach Welsh for me, like I haven't done a great job of kind of paying attention to those, first year or newer to college level divers. And obviously we can always do better paying attention to the junior level divers. But he's just one that's just steady all the
Yeah.
time. Zach Welsh is always going to be around. He might
Yeah.
not take first place, but he will, to me, like he's making every final from here on out until he's done diving. He's just so steady and so solid.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I think the other piece, like I look back pre 1 meter, like looking at the synchro events, and we talked about this in the preview, was oh, you might want to watch this. I don't know how it goes in finals, but Tanner absolutely demolished 307 in the prelim. Like
Nice.
poked it.
All right, arms are out. He's on the top. We're ready to roll here.
That was good, but
Pretty
he
good.
yeah, you got to go back and rewatch the one in prelims. Like if he would have done that one in finals, it would have went 9.5, like 9.5. It was so good.
Really. He has got a nice tight tuck. I like that.
Yeah. But we asked the question in the prelim of, or excuse me, in the pre episode leading into this of, do you think the teams that will represent us are here in this synchro event? And while
Mm,
I don't think, I don't know if I think Josh Sullenberger and Luke Sitz will end up being synchro partners 3.5 years from now. I could absolutely see Jack Ryan and Quinn Henninger being the synchro team to beat. I could absolutely
yeah.
see being a team. What about you?
I'm with you on Quinn and Jack. I thought they just look like they mesh a little bit better
Agree.
than Andrew and Quinn. Andrew has such a powerful, strong
Right.
hurdle that like there's like not many people that can duplicate that. And Quinn and Jack to me just look like it flows better. It looks like it just fits together better. And obviously they still do really big dives. And
Yeah.
I do love that they do 307. I think
Yeah.
it's a strength of both of them, and they showed that off. I think they
Yep.
scored like 85 in it.
Agree.
So yeah, it's cool to see those guys work together.
Yeah. Another good dive for Jordan. 2 for 2 so far, I would say. Um, as far as women's tower, Anna Lemkin and Lainey Gutch, I could see that being a team that is going to be a contender come, 3.5 years from now. But I don't think the team that will represent us was in this field. Maybe a piece of that team, one half of that team. I don't know who it may or may not be, but I thought that we talked a lot about women's 3 meter synchro of Lily Whitty and Bailey Sturgill and how they
Yeah.
were the most experienced team, which is kind of ironic considering they're probably one of the younger teams. And they won, and that was pretty cool. But seeing Kendall Knight, Anna Kwong together, Margot O'Meara, and Sophie Rizal, I thought was pretty interesting as well. I wasn't sure if you were able to watch the synchro.
I didn't watch any synchro, unfortunately. I was really putting my head to the grindstone. It is holiday season. So in retail, we kind of get crazy over the holidays, and custom retail specifically, people want names on things and business apparel. So my work right now is absolutely nuts. So I didn't watch much synchro, but I watched as much as I could of the individuals.
Hey, you got us our shirts in like a week and a half, and they're the most comfortable shirts ever. Ever.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. There was a lot of people behind the scenes making that happen. So I
I
got to give a shout out to those guys.
Yeah, all my athletes were coming in picking them up and they're like, "Whoa, these shirts are way nicer than you thought." Like, I'm like, "No, I told you they were the most comfortable shirts ever." And then Synchro Men's Tower, Max Weinrich and Dash were the champs there, followed by Ray and Raymond from Louisville. So, congrats to those guys. I'm excited to see hopefully the growth of our synchro teams and see what teams end up start forming over the next couple years here to see some competitions take place.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right. I thought
Col-
Collier had a good meet too.
Collier had a very good meet. All disciplines. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just kind of he's got big dives. He's capable of a good rip. He's just a fun guy to watch, fun guy to cheer for.
Yeah, like we said last night, he's just a good dude. Like
Yeah,
even when I talked to him at nationals, or excuse me, at trials, just a super nice guy, and really enjoyed watching him dive. I feel like this had to be a big meet for him mentally. I know they've had college meets, but if you remember, he kind of struggled a little bit at Olympic trials up on 10 meter, and he had a scratch. So for him to come to this meet final, and I mean, like we're watching it as it takes place here, or not as it takes place, but we haven't watched this yet. Like for him to be in finals and diving well, like that's awesome for him. Like he should be so pumped.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, big fan. Um, Another thing is let's touch on some fantasy. We did talk about fantasy diving last night in the YouTube. So if you've watched that or you're listening to this now, it might be a little repetitive, but we'll explain to the people how we do fantasy diving. So as a crash course, we have 5 people that are in our kind of group chat, and basically we just go event by event, all individuals. And with those 5 people, the women have 5 dives, the men have 6 dives. So we try to go all the way through the list and take at least one dive from every competitor. Now, you can do the math. 5 times 5 is 25. For women's events, there was one event, I believe it was women's platform. They did not have 25 divers. So once we kind of ran through the whole list of divers, then we went back to the top, and I believe it was like one full round where everybody got a kind of top, I guess, top tier diver. I don't know if you want to call it that. Um, so yeah, we just kind of do a snake draft, and it's a randomized order. And
Oh, Andrew
holy,
Bennett.
Andrew Bennett just smoked 407.
He scored 75-2 on this in the prelim. Oh, 72. All
Well,
right.
it looked a little short, like it's
Yeah.
definitely short, but
Good save.
he shredded it.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, the fantasy diving's been really fun. It's really difficult to do because of scratches, and we're not there. We don't know who's competing, who's not. We didn't know if Andrew's list and Tyler's list on 1 meter were like legit or not. So it's like a risk of, okay, do I take Andrew's 405B if we don't know how much he's been training? And then yeah, it was really interesting. And then just the scratches, like we said, they're unpredictable, and then all of a sudden we have to improvise and find another dive that's going to fit. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of chaos,
Yes.
and it's we had this dream of bringing it like full scale, like to the masses, but with so much change and how many things just happen so quickly, I just don't see it being a feasible thing on a grand scale.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's something so fun. I think it's important we say like this is not for money. We genuinely just do this just for
Oh
pride.
yeah.
Like it is just for pride. It's just for bragging rights, which honestly is more valuable than money in this group chat.
Yeah,
Like the ability to be able to like it's just a lot of fun. Like I find when we did fantasy diving, it makes those long, grueling 1 meter meets for Division 1 nationals way more enjoyable because there's somewhere between 40 and 50 competitors, and if we have six people in fantasy like we typically do, you have to watch 36 dives
yes,
watch the vast majority, 3/4 4/5 of the dives, and you're excited to watch them because like, all right, like if this person misses, like dang, like we don't get mad at the divers, it just makes the event more enjoyable.
for
Like
sure. And I'll just kind of run through an example. We'll look at our women's 1 meter. I had the number one pick, and then there were, obviously 4 others. So with the number one pick, I picked Anna Kwong's 305. Team two picked Sophie Verzile, 305. Team three, Haley Hernandez, 5134. Team four, Mia Valet, 405. Team
mhm,
five, Lainey Gutch, 305. And then team five got another pick back to back. So team five gets picks 5, 6, and then what is it? 15, 16,
right.
something like that. So my team ended up looking like Anna Kwong, 305, Margot O'Meara, 203B, Avery Warble, 105B, Lindsay Jeetsy, 5134D, and Molly Gray, 403B. So you have to create a legal list. So for the women, it's one of every category, and you have to use all of the divers competing. You cannot repeat a diver. So it like Heath said, it's a really fun way. Oh, Derek Colbert, really nice 107B there. It's a fun way to watch all of the dives and all of the divers and cheer. And it's once
Makes the
we
event, you're more engaged in the event is the way I describe.
yes, way more engaged. So super, super fun. It gets difficult, but when everybody's kind of with it on their phones, ready to react,
Yeah.
we can usually figure out lists in a fair way. Air quotes fair. I'm the one that'll absolutely
That's
grind for every
you both
extra
do.
point. I'm gonna find any loophole to get my team an advantage, but it's
I
still really fun.
dang. This I would tell you objectively, I think Tanner is the diver that impressed me the most today on men's 10 meter. Not like necessarily like had the best meet start to finish 12 dives, but like I've always known he's good, but like this was a different level of like seeing him compete, which was really fun.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, fantasy diving, it's where it's at. If you want to sit and watch a long event, it's definitely where it's at. I still think my dream is we get enough people and we do all the zone meets.
That sounds. I just don't think it could ever logistically work. That's a lot of diving.
Yeah. While we're going here, well, Jordan just went. Jordan just did 307 for 56. So a little bit of a miss there. I'm just trying to rewatch it back. It's kind of a little short there.
Yeah.
But let's just kind of touch base on men's 3 meter. We watched that last night. Jack Ryan, I mean, he just blew everybody out of the water.
Yeah,
Like
it
there's
wasn't
no
even
other way to
close.
describe it. He blew everybody out. Like we said, this is like just that Jack Ryan, not emerging, but like just blowing people out. Like this is like his coming out party in the aspects of like he might be the guy now. Like I really could see him being the guy, especially as he adds triple out and potentially like back 3.5.
Yeah, I absolutely think he is the guy. And I appreciate him kind of shoving it back in my face when I used to say that, he struggles with fronts and inwards. The dude is unbelievable at fronts and inwards. And then you add that to the fact that he's already world class at
Mm,
backs and reverses.
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Like the sky's the limit for Jack. And if he continues to add DD and do it
Yeah.
and do it with just I mean, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, and then you talk about the rest. Carson Tyler getting second, Quinn getting third. Collier got fourth last night. Like that's awesome. Connor
Yeah.
Guessing fifth. Muhammad from Miami got sixth. Luke Forster seventh. Aiden Wang eighth. Zach Welsh getting ninth. Mason Mankey, the only junior, he made it through the qualifier into the final and he got 10th. Ethan Swart from Auburn got 11th. Hunter Hollenbeck from Stanford got 12th. And Sebastian Otero from Indiana.
I
He
think Hunter come through the qualifier as well?
You are correct. Yeah, I believe you are correct. And Sebastian got 13th. Like, I like that we're seeing some new names. I think that's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And we're missing a few too. No, I don't
Yeah, we
know.
know Tyler Downs and all them.
Yeah, but also one name that we just haven't even mentioned is Lyle Yost. Obviously,
Yeah.
he is coaching and he is an assistant coach. Don't know if he's training,
Yep.
but he's kind of one of those staples in springboard diving that wasn't here, and I don't know if he's retired from diving or not. But that was just the one name that I'm like, man, he's not here, he's absent, and we miss him.
Yeah, I agree. I think just like his energy too. Like, I feel like when Lyle is on a springboard, it is just like, what is this crazy person about to do?
Yeah.
Because
All right,
it's
let's
going to be amazing.
let's segue. Let's talk a little women's 10 meter because that was also last night,
That was
and
the highlight event I mean, in my opinion, that was the highlight event for the weekend.
I agree. That was my
Yeah.
absolute like circle it on my calendar. I have to watch this. Super excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, the big piece we're going to talk about is for sure going to be Ellie Reese, but I mean, Darren Wright, I mean,
She crushed it.
she's the woman. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Delaney Snell has stepped aside whether she comes back or not. I have no clue. Oh, there's your 6-1.
Oh, 616 Max Weinrich.
You go,
Shredded.
Max. But whether Delaney comes back is to be seen, but Darren Wright is the woman to beat. Like, and if
Yeah.
you think that's not the case, like including us. Like, nope, she's the woman to beat. Like, I still, I'm still gonna cheer hard for Bailey and Ellie Reese and them. Like, those are the people I really enjoy. But like, I've got to see Anna Lemkin dive a lot more, and I really enjoy watching her dive.
Yeah,
And
she's really good.
yeah, like so just to hit some results, Anna got second, Sophia McAfee got third, Bailey getting fourth, Ellie Reese getting fifth, which we'll talk more about. Kaylee Clark from Florida State getting sixth. I'm just watching Max's 109 there. He missed that pretty bad in the prelim, but that was much better. Um, Taylor Fox from Texas, seventh. Lauren Birch from Stanford, eighth. Emily Halifax from Auburn, ninth. Ella Rosselli from Indiana, 10th. Abigail Farrar from Auburn. There was a tie. That's actually funny that I'm looking at this now.
Wild.
Abigail Farrar and Emily Moore tied for 11th. Camila Monroy got 13th from Florida, and Quintilla Fidanza, who is a junior diver, only junior, and she made it through the qualifier, got 14th, and she'll be going to Florida next fall.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
so yeah, so really good meet. And it's cool to see another person from the qualifier get through that didn't get the score in the qualifier, but was top three. And that's another year dive there.
Nice. Yeah, I was just watching Drew Bennett. He's on an absolute tear, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he is diving well.
68.8. That's the same score. Same score as prelim.
Good boy. Yeah, things that I wanted to just mention again about Darren. That 207 is unbelievable. She hit it both in the prelim and the final. I think the final was even better. And just I mean, I'm almost ready to name that dive after her. I mean, I've seen a lot of people do that dive, but she just crushed it every time. Um, talking about Anna Lemkin, she just seems like the model of consistency for me. Um, I haven't necessarily seen her like absolutely destroy flat rip dives, but she's always vertical and it's always clean. It might not be an Ellie Reese rip clean,
Right.
but she's vertical every single time in every dive. And when we do fantasy diving, one of the dives I always circle is Anna Lemkin 107B
Yeah.
because I know it's going to be amazing. And she smoked it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
And Sophia, go ahead. Did you have anything else to add on
Go
Anna?
ahead. Nope, go ahead.
I was just going to move on to Sophia McAfee. Just again, model of consistency. She doesn't have the craziest dives, but she knows where she's at in the air and she puts a good line on a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, who was fourth? Remind me.
Bailey, our girl.
Bailey. Yeah, there you go. We were speaking of this last night. I think Bailey has shown us what consistency on big dives is starting to look like. When she was kind of fresh on the scene doing these big ones, it was super exciting, but maybe lacked a little of that consistency on 305, on 307, on 207. And fronts and inwards weren't her strength, but now the whole list looks good. And it's one of those lists where if front inward twister goes fairly well, she can shred 207, 307. Like she's going to win a meet. She's going to win a big meet and she might represent us at the Olympics next time. I'm really excited to see the progress she's making on becoming consistent at those really big dives. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think you sit there and you're like, okay, like if Bailey's on back and gainer, you're talking about minimally that's 160 points.
Yeah.
Okay, so realistically for the US, you need to be if you're at 300 on the women's side, that would have put you second place, I believe, in prelims and final individual lists. So like she needs to get 140 on 3 dives.
Yeah.
I mean, like as long as and that's like that's less than 40, 50 points a dive. Like, so when you sit there and think about that, it's like, man, she has such like a secret, it's not a secret weapon, but like she has such an advantage in those categories when they're on that like she doesn't have to be world class in front, inward, and twister. But man, if she can make those as good or even one deviation less, like, oh man, is she going to be awesome? And
Yeah.
so I think you said it, like we're seeing the consistency, we're seeing the improvement, and that's really fun. Like knowing that she transferred over to Texas, like that transition from transferring can be a real challenge, and it seems like she's handling it really, really well.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah.
But that brings you to your girl, Ellie Reese. So, like, go ahead and just kind of hit us with some of the stuff you're thinking about Ellie Reese.
Man, the future is just so bright for USA diving, United States diving with Ellie Reese on the platform. She not only is super fun to watch because she just has the capability to disappear on any dive. I mean, I'm such a fan of her as a person.
Yeah.
Um, she had a little bit of a rough prelim. I think missed her first two fairly bad, and then third,
Yeah.
fourth, fifth. They progressively got better as you look at her dive meets list. Each score just did wow. Tanner Bronten is lighting it up.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
But as you look at Ellie Reese's prelim scores, they just get better as each dive goes. And her last one, it was inward. I think she scored what was it, close to 70 or
Yeah,
yeah.
72 or 71.
And so she just kind of showed everybody like, okay, maybe there was some nerves. Maybe there was. I mean, this was the first competition she's
Yeah.
ever had on 10
On
meters
10. Yeah, like Dylan
ever.
did really well last night. He's like, I went back to look at like what she's scored on these, and like she's never competed on 10 meter.
Yeah, and she's 12 years old.
Diving against an Olympian and like
It's
national finalists and
yeah,
division, like, yes.
super crazy. So, but I think she was kind of the talk of the national meet, if you
Okay.
ask me.
Yeah.
Um, we saw a lot of dives and warmups that were flat rip. I'm not a judge at the this level, but to me, like the rip is 10 worthy. Now, was the takeoff 10 worthy? Probably. If the rip is that flat, I would have to believe the rest of the dive is pretty well executed. But the girls got everything that you need. And to me, Ellie Reese is, you know how that there's that saying like, um, how's it go?
I don't know. What's the saying?
Hard work beats talent
Hard work beats talent. Talent doesn't work hard. And
when
she's
talent doesn't work out.
talent that works
So
hard.
here's Ellie Reese to me. Ellie Reese is a combination of God given talent, working hard, and with the right coach and right support staff around her. So I'm just very excited for her future. She's my favorite diver to watch.
Yeah, I think number one, I mean, we like pump these people up all the time, but like we sit here and we talk like who are the people that have the best rip in the country? And like the people that come to mind are Carson for the men.
Yep.
I think Carson has the flattest rip. And then I think Ellie Reese. I also like Ellie Reese is 12. Like she definitely has a little bit of an advantage in regards of like she doesn't weigh a lot.
Right.
Like, but like Bailey's got a pretty flat rip. But like to me, like, okay, Ellie Reese and Carson Tyler, who was their juniors coach? John Fox. Like, he's doing something right with the underwaters. He's doing something right with development. Like, go and learn from him, reach out to him, ask for help. But when it comes to Ellie Reese in particular, I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of like she's just such a great kid. Like she always says, like she's always so kind whenever we get to see her. She's just super nice. There you go, Collier.
Wow. Collier, he looks like he just jumps higher.
Yeah, yeah, he's just strong. Um, I think early in our preview episode, we kind of put that over under at 5, and I think we even stretched it to maybe top 3. But if I did the math right, I believe her list in finals was third. I think it was behind Sophia, and I think it was behind Darren for sure. But like she was third or fourth on her list in finals. And for her that to be her first meet and get fifth, I mean, you're talking about Camila Monroy was the SEC champion last year. Like, you're talking about Ellie Reese beat, like, she didn't like, it wasn't like she walked into it, she beat the SEC champion. Like, and there are Division I nationals kids that qualified. There are kids that are freshmen that were junior divers that now, what's that, 67-2? Of course, Max.
Yeah. Max Weinrich, 305C, 67.2.
Yeah, I think the future is really bright. We talk about this a lot. You and I think we've talked about it on the episodes and also just like behind closed doors. Like we have to figure out a way to make superstars in our sport. Like for the general population to see and be like, I think of like a Simone Biles. Like obviously we don't have something like that right now at this moment in time, but like how do we get someone that can transcend our sport and become more mainstream? And it's like Ellie Reese is 12. Like if you don't acknowledge that like she very well is the future of USA diving right now on the women's side, like I think you're like short-sighted to not try to figure out a way how to promote this young woman, how to like have this help USA diving? And that's something I'm like curious about. I also know that's like asking a lot of a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's not necessarily her doing anything. Like she should be focused on school, her her personal life, then diving. Like there's so many things that come before diving, but USA Diving should be figuring out a way to how do you promote that a 12-year-old just got fifth at Winter Nationals in a senior event in her first event ever on 10 meter?
And you know what? To give them a little credit, I think they did a great job of that this week. I
Yeah.
saw a couple warm up dives and it was like, yeah, that's really cool. I haven't necessarily seen a ton of that. And
Yeah.
then, they did mention it, youngest competitor in the event and she made finals. So there was a nice little, there was some buzz and I appreciated that because it was a big deal. It's really cool.
Yeah. I also think though, I think typically our critique, and I know I'm kind of like, you're being positive and I'm trying to be a little bit more critical here, is like our critique typically isn't when meets are going on.
Right.
Our critique is like, okay, our next big USA meet in the States,
Ooh,
what that
Josh,
he
207B.
yeah, he did not do that well in the prelim. He only got like 20 points in the prelim.
He
That's
smoked it tonight.
plus,
77-4.
but like our next big meet in the US, I think is probably the American Cup in June. And so it's like between December, what's today? December 15th and June 12th, I think that meet starts, if memory serves me correct, because it's on the events page. Like, what are we going to do to make sure people don't just forget about diving until June?
Right.
And that's when we typically become a little bit more critical. And I'm really excited to see what they do to capitalize and to continue to try to grow everything. So that I'm excited for. I do need to give a shout out to Nick Stone. His 305C before this got like 65 points, I think, or 61. Like, and we love Nick. We got to get
Yeah.
with Nick at trials, just a freaking awesome young man. But yeah,
Nick
so
Nick is awesome. He's someone I'm going to be cheering for,
yeah.
for his whole career. He's super fun.
But yeah, I think I'm excited to see Ellie Reese's development. And we said it last night. We were talking with Ben because obviously Ben coached Bailey and juniors. Is like, think about it. Like we were talking, Bailey's essentially been diving for like 5 years. When you count the COVID years, kind of a half year for everybody. She's been diving the same time frame that Ellie Reese has essentially been diving.
Yeah.
See the different trajectories in their career because Bailey doesn't have the same time to develop certain basics like how Ellie Reese's are just rock solid. Bailey's are still really friggin' good, but Bailey's also doing all the big dives because she's physically ready to do those things and mentally
Right.
ready to do those things. So, but I think you're talking about Ellie Reese doing this stuff, and let's not mince words. She did a voluntary.
Yeah. She she
Did a
did
vol.
52-31 was
Yeah,
her
she
was
did a
her
vol.
first dive.
Like, okay, and like think about it too. She competed arm stand. She competed the arm stand that would be competed at the international level.
Yes.
Did it well. Like
Yeah.
very, very well. So you're sitting there talking about like, okay, 205B, we know that she can smoke that. Like she struggled with it a little bit in competition, but how many videos has everybody seen from this week of her just destroying the dive?
Yeah.
305C, like that's probably going to be a 105B, but like sooner or later, she's probably going to do 207C. Sooner or later, she's going to do 52, 53. And it's like that's when things are going to be really interesting in her development process that I'm excited for.
Yeah. Hey, all right, let's talk a little women's 3 meter.
Yeah, that's what I brought up here. Um,
Nice.
I'll hit the results and then you can lead off. So Mia Valle winning 1 and 3 meter, awesome for her. Real close meet. Um, Yeah, Anna Kwong got second. She destroyed her last dive. Like she destroyed 107. I can look at that later. Avery Warble getting third. Kendall Knight fourth. Lily Whitty fifth. Sophie Verzile getting sixth. Sophia McAfee seventh. Lainey Gutch eighth. Katarina Hoffman ninth. Samantha Veer 10th. Charlotte Martinkus from Purdue, 11th. Margot O'Meara, 12th. And Brooke Early in 13th. Um, just a really good meet from what I wasn't able to watch it. I was only able to kind of see the live results
Hey,
over the.
also Charlotte Martinkus, Princeton,
Right, what did I say?
Purdue.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Princeton.
Both
My
suits
bad.
have a P, but
Yeah. Yeah.
wrong
Oh,
wrong
yeah.
school there.
I was not gaslighting you on that one. I actually did forget that. Sorry. But Tanner Broughton just crushed back 2.5 arm stand, like for 73.8 points.
Yeah, he's having a meet, man.
Yes.
Is
Yes, he
there is there a pot? Oh, Rezepka 109.
Ooh.
Oh, dang.
Again, he
That
did the 7B in prelim. He did
that was
amazing.
really good.
He'll be happy with that. He went
Dang.
for 86 point. Remember he started in like ninth.
He got a 9 on that. That's insane.
Ooh. All right. But continue. You were talking just about the women's meet.
Yeah, hang on. I gotta. Yeah, so it looked like Anna Kwong went into the final in the lead in first place. There was a little unfortunate one with Margot. It looked like she may have clipped the holy cow, Tyler Wills 207. Um,
No one has
she,
it.
yeah, I know. I was just looking at that. So Margot might have clipped the springboard on 405B. She got 9 total points, which is ones
Very out
times.
of character for her.
So yeah, that was just a little strange. But yeah, Anna Kwong is just on a tear. Again, Mia Valet winning both springboards at United States Nationals. Like, I love to see Mia kind of back. It feels
Yeah.
like Mia's back. She never really left, but she's back, like diving. Like we know Mia can dive. So that's super exciting. And then yeah, Avery Warble, Kendall Knight. It's cool to see Kendall back in the water again. We don't get to see her compete all the time just because she's, graduated college, but love to see her compete. Sophie Verzile, a little surprising, if I'm being honest, finishing sixth. I figured she would be in the top three.
Yeah,
Um,
she struggled in the prelim. She missed inward and reverse, and she missed inward as well in the final. But everything else was solid. She did a 71 point double out in the prelim.
that's
Absolutely,
nuts.
absolutely nuts.
Yeah, and then Lainey Gutch again doubling down on her 1 meter springboard with a 3 meter final as well. So Lainey is a name that's here to stay, and really cool. It's cool also to see Katarina Hoffman.
Yes.
I really enjoy watching her dive, and obviously her dad, her younger sister, they're all doing some big things coming up at Night Diving Academy. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes,
Is
sir.
that where they're at? So yeah, anytime you see a Hoffman, it's exciting. She's legit. She's super good.
Yeah, I think when I sit here and look at it, like to me, I feel like I see a lot of young names on the women's side. Like we know Sophie's going to be around, or I should say, we feel confident Sophie's going to be around. Margot, Charlotte Martinkus, Sammy Veer, Katarina Hoffman, Laney, Avery Warble, Anna Kwong. I'm hoping she can figure out how can she stay involved in diving over the next 3.5 years because she's so new to diving and she's legit competing with some amazing divers. Like Mia is a world medalist and she's competing and she beat her in the prelim. So it's like figuring out how do we keep these people around like Kendall. Like we know Kendall is sticking around for another Olympic cycle. Lily Whitty is young. So I feel like on the women's side, we're seeing a lot of young names that are starting to emerge and kind of become their own person and step out of maybe former teammates' shadows or just some of those more experienced divers. And on the men's side, I don't know. I guess I feel a little bit more like usual suspects. Like we've known Jack Ryan's name forever, Carson, Quinn, those type of names. And so
Wow,
that to me
dude,
is the fun part.
Max Flory can just flat out spin on that 207B. Like he is moving, and there's no crimp in those knees.
Yeah.
79.2 points. That's unbelievable.
Whew. So I'm excited to see what continues to happen on the men's and women's side of this for springboard because it's also like let's keep in mind this is also not even a full 6 months after the Olympics. Like I feel sure there are a lot of people that are just like I need a break. Like what
Yeah,
Dylan and them are like the Ohio State divers didn't even come to this. So those type of things are interesting to monitor as well.
yeah, for sure. And as we have been talking this whole time, oh man, Andrew Bennett, 307C.
Oh,
This was crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, I want to know what that's going to score.
76.
70. He only got 7.5 and 8. I don't understand that one. That one to me looked like it was going to go a lot higher, but 76.5 points. Wow. Andrew Bennett. The kid he's balling right now. Like in the
Yes.
NCAA. I think he just won our athlete of the week recently. Like
Yeah.
he beat Yutong Wong on
Mhm.
1 meter, and Yutong was the Big Ten champ. And he's competing against all these guys on 3 meter. He's in the hunt, and now he's in the hunt for a medal here on this
Yeah.
platform. Like he's in third. He'll be in third, right? After Josh's dive here. Josh just
I,
went for
yeah.
109.
Third. Yep. You got it. Oh, 70.
Yeah, Drew Bennett, third place right now.
I also
My word.
I just like love seeing like Josh just like seems to be competing a lot. I just feel like he's competing a lot, and that's exciting because I just feel like the more he competes, the more rock steady he's going to get, and then we're going to start to see those dives we know he can destroy just consistently destroying them all the time, no questions asked, and that I'm really excited for Josh. Um,
It's nice to see him compete well on a big stage as well. I mean, that's kind of been a little bit of an Achilles heel for him. He'll get to the big stage and then sometimes just not have an opportune dive at the right time.
yeah,
But we know the
yeah,
talent is there.
yeah. It's like he wins all the he dominate. He doesn't even win. He dominates the meets he's supposed to win, and then he's like, it's like he's the bridesmaid. Like, because didn't he get? I think I could be wrong. He got third right at trials.
Yeah,
So it's like he's just like right there on those meets where the competition kind of takes that next step up. And I
right.
think I'm excited to see him kind of break through that as well.
Yeah. And as we've been talking, we are now in the last round of men's tower. So kind of good timing. We'll get to test out our commentating skills for Norway as we are headed over to the Bergen Open this
Yes.
year.
That's crazy. I still can't believe we're doing that.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know how it's gonna go, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I really hope there's at least one team from the US that goes. Did you know? So I just was like clicking around their website and looking at like results and things like that. They have records. Did you know Ella Rosselli has their 10 meter has their tower record for I
No
think
way.
it's Group A girls?
That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So I think in that regard, I really hope there is at least one US team there because I think that would just be fun. But even if not, like I think it'll be really cool to see a different culture, different part of the world.
Yeah,
We just get to sit back and watch diving. It's gonna be
I
awesome.
know. I started doing a little research on Norway, and I don't know if this is true because all of a sudden I'm questioning if it's true. But like, I guess like one of the meats that they regularly eat is reindeer, which feels so uncomfortable to say out loud, right? We got
Especially right
Rudolph.
before Christmas.
Yeah, we got Rudolph showing up in just a couple of days here, 10 days away from Christmas, and reindeers on the menu. That sounds so bad.
That's wild. That's wild, man.
But yeah, I'm excited to get into a new culture, a new area. Use the passport for a real trip other than Canada, because that's just across the border for me. And
Right,
I don't know, it counts, but it doesn't really count. But
right. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a cool experience. I'm excited for the people we'll meet and the athletes we're gonna get to introduce ourselves to. We gotta prepare like kind of some stuff to do content wise, which will be fun.
yeah.
Uh, I think some of my administrators are like my AD made the joke. I kind of told her, I'm like, hey, we're able to do this, right? And she goes, yeah. She goes, I'm trying to figure out how they want if they want to send me over there and help you guys with diving. Like, hey, come along, that's fine.
For sure. All right,
Uh,
Tanner Bronson, we got one more dive. Let's see if we can finish this list. Oh, just a little short on
it
407.
was
Just
still a massive list.
yeah. Fell a little pike going in. Fours. Looks like he kept fours. 4 and 4.5. So
He had a great. I think it's kind of interesting too that he does back arm stand 2.5 twister, but he does back 1.5, 1.5, or
that
back,
is
back 2.5, 1.5 as his op for twister.
that's very interesting.
All right, here's your triple out. This is my dive. Let's see.
Yeah,
He did
Rezepka,
back 1.5 twister in the prelim, so let's see what happens here.
multi-talented.
That's
Wouldn't it
not.
be, dude? What if he doubled up on twisters?
Oh,
Wow, he's just so good at that dive.
it's nuts. It's got to be 80, right?
Little long, yeah. I mean, with that DD,
Mm.
85.5. Wow, you extend that lead. You're the only one over 400. Way to go, Heath. You're the champion of fantasy diving. You won the overall as well. That's
For this event, I feel sure for the next one we'll do is what probably women's one meet or women's division ones.
yeah, probably get last.
It'll go off the rails there.
I know. it is very unpredictable. I think I have this one, Tyler Wills, 307. So
Yeah.
we'll see what he's got. I really enjoy watching Tyler Wills dive. He's super clean.
Ooh,
And yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like that was
69.7 in the prelim.
yeah. Tyler Wills just threw down 79.9. That's huge. Love that. Nice work, man.
All right. And yeah, that was good. I mean, I felt like this final seemed significantly better as well than the prelim. Like the athletes definitely were there.
I wonder what that is. Do you think some of it is time of day? I mean, I
Yeah.
mentioned that for the men's 3 meter. The men's 3 meter prelim was pretty rough.
Yeah.
And then the final was better. I just wonder if it's the same for these guys.
I think that's pretty valid. I mean, you think about it, what the prelims were going on between 10 and 12:30 ish. And then you talk about it and it's like right now I think they dove at about 5 today. So I mean, you're talking about probably when most people are practicing.
Yeah.
Logically speaking, like just for your body, that would make a little bit of sense to me. Um, I definitely wanted to give a shout out to. So I texted a Bones from RTH.
Oh yeah.
I just texted him and I said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, like, you guys killed it with the live stream. Like the graphics, the camera stuff. There's a few mishaps here or there, but like whatever. Like I think there's been like two, like whatever." But I just texted him and just told him like, "Hey, great job." And he texted me back today, and I wanted to read it to you. He goes, "Thanks so much. They told me you guys were coming, and I got all excited, and then you guys didn't show up." And I was like, "Yeah, sorry. We kind of both had to stay home because we got some other trips planned." I said, I know for sure I'll go to the American Cup. I'm hopeful that you'll be able to make it as well." And he's like, "Perfect. I can't wait to see you guys there." So,
Yeah, we love Bones. I think they're doing some good things. What I appreciated this time is they basically like picked up where they left off. I
yes.
think
Yeah.
that was one of our criticisms before, as the first few events was always like, okay, let's relearn how to do this. And then by the last event, they kind of had all the kinks worked out where I think they hit the ground running on event one.
Yeah.
And every single event, I've been very impressed with multiple cameras, multiple angles, following the dives through the air very well.
Yeah.
I've been satisfied with the live stream tremendously.
I almost have a sense of like you said, like they definitely picked up where they left off. And in my mind, it's almost like they were able to take really good notes on like, okay, this camera angle worked well. It was easy to switch between these ones. Like, okay, we need to bring X amount of cameras, put them in these locations, and we're going to be able to make this go really smooth. Oh, Max just man. I just one time, and I'm probably not alone in this. I want to see Max throw a list together in a meet like we see him do in practice.
Yeah.
Like it would be so insanely massive.
We just need to put it outside.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
dive outside, Max
Yeah.
Flory's not losing.
That's probably fair.
All right,
Fantasy
Drew.
diving is complete.
Let's see what you got for your last dive, man. Drew Bennett. So it looks like Jordan Rezepka pulled ahead of Max Flory.
That's
So
wild.
if Drew pulls ahead of Max, we might see, because I'm assuming Josh Hedberg's gonna win this one.
Yeah, I'm froze. I'm trying
Yeah,
to.
mine froze too, actually.
Oh, okay, that makes me feel better.
Oh no, right before Drew's dive. That's the worst. It looks like the scoreboard is still going, but like, oh, we didn't get to see the dive. 75.2. Wow, it must have been a good one.
Yep. Yeah, it froze. So Jordan did sneak in front of. So Jordan moved up from. Let me double check and make sure I'm not crazy here because we get this stuff wrong and then
That
we.
was that was super close.
Jordan moved up from 8th to 2nd.
Wow.
That's a big move. Even in men's tower, where a lot of stuff can happen, that's a big move, especially when Andrew Bennett dove well. It wasn't like he didn't by point one.
Dude, point one. Look at
We-
Drew Bennett. Let's go.
That's like a big like. He's another one. Like I feel like because he's a junior,
No, 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 no. He's at University of Minnesota.
but no, he's a junior, right? Like he's a
Oh,
junior in school.
sorry. I thought you meant a junior diver.
I think
I don't know. I think so. I think
not a
he's a junior.
I know he's not a senior. And like to me, like he really blew up when we were down at trials. Like he was kind of one of those people that like you were really excited about. And you're like, I'm excited to see him at this stage.
Yeah.
And like he dove real well. And he did some stuff where we're like, we kind of turned our heads and we're like, whoa.
Yeah, I think he balked on his arm stand, which took him out of the final, which was super unfortunate because he has a killer arm stand.
Yeah.
But he's just been on the rise all year. And it's not even been all year. It's been for the last like 2, 3 years building and brewing. And all of a sudden, like, whoa, Drew Bennett's here. Like, let's go. And he's legit.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, like, I think he's a name to keep an eye on. Like you said, Zach Welsh, like he is always going to be there. Like they developed him over at Mission with John Appleman. Like they're always going to be there. Anna Lemkin. Like there's a lot of like the future is bright. Like if everything can be nurtured and developed correctly and the right opportunities for athletes to compete, I really do believe like we have the talent here to be competitive at an international stage. I don't know if that will always result in medals, but like I think everybody would be I mean, obviously you want to win medals, but I think everybody would be happy if it's like, hey, at LA in 2028, we final in every event with every spot we have. Like that would be an amazingly successful meet. Bring home a couple medals, like have some youth divers, whether that's Ellie Reese, whether that's like who else is like Anna Lemkin might do another site. Like I think of those names of like who wants to stick around for 2, 3 Olympic cycles, and it's like that's what I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It,
so I mean, what
It
other
looks like that stream kind of got cut off before the last two dives. Josh Hedberg's last dive, 52-55, went for 81 points. So Josh really putting the exclamation mark on this list and becoming a national champion in the process. So pretty cool. All right, Heath, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
Who's your male and female diver of the meet?
Like if I was giving away a true like award from the meet,
Yeah, yeah. For USA Diving Winter Nationals, you got to pick one woman, one man. Who would you give it to?
if it can be international, it's 100% Mia
Yeah,
and like Jack Ryan went 3 for 3. He won all 3 events he competed in, and not only won, like he dominated.
yeah,
Like Mia Valle didn't dominate, but she was rock steady and she won both of the events she entered.
yeah.
So for me, I think if you would say like I mean, we've talked enough about Ellie Reese. Like that's definitely a story people need to be aware and need to watch. Like, but I think Anna Kwong is just as big of a story.
Yeah.
I really do. Like second on 3 meter, and she was in second after prelims. Then she did a big list and she fell down. But like she's a name like that we should be talking about. And like I I mean Collier sticks out to me, but like on the men's side, I think for me, Jack Ryan. Like
Yeah.
that's the story coming out of this meet. And it's like we know that there are gonna be those usual suspect names there. But for me, like if you said diver of the meet, but then you also said what's the story, like Jack Ryan, like on
Yep.
the men's side, that's what it is for me. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with the men. Jack Ryan for sure. Not only the diver of the meet, but like the storyline of the meet. Like, dude has emerged and he's here and he's our guy on springboard. We still have Carson, we still have Quinn, we still have Andrew, we still have Tyler Downs. All of those are excellent names, but Jack was so sharp
Yeah.
and he looked just the best of anybody this week. So kudos there. And then on the women's side, you mentioned all the names that were worth mentioning. I think Mia Valle winning sweeping springboard, super awesome. Happy to see her diving well. Ellie Reese is a massive story, so that's exciting to see how that'll play out. And then you mentioned Anna Kwong. Yeah, pretty dang cool all the way around. It was a little interesting to see Haley Hernandez scratch 3 meter
Yeah. Yeah.
because we have come to know her as just kind of that steady going to be top three as long as she enters the meet she's going to
Yeah.
finish top three type of thing.
With Vols.
So well, yeah, with Vols, I mean at NCAA's that was crazy. So hopefully she's okay, hopefully there's no injuries or anything there, but yeah.
Well, it very well could have it could have been the same thing as Andrew and them. Maybe if what we heard is true, maybe she
Right,
just needs to enter one event.
right, and yeah, they maybe disguised it a little bit better.
Yeah, like maybe, um, or what about one more just thought here? What about just the story and I don't think anybody doubted that this person was going to be successful, but David Bodaya taking over for Adam.
Yeah,
New divers showed out.
they
His
look great.
divers did awesome. And I mean, all of those divers are great in and of it by themselves, but like, it could be easy to look at a diver and be like, oh, like they kind of look how they did last year. Like they looked better, every single one
Yeah,
of them. And I think that's a great testament to David. And he is just picking up right where Adam left off. So
Yeah, good point.
that
Good
was that
point.
was
And
cool.
I'm sure David's kind of been intertwined into that program as the years have come here. So yeah, just seeing him at the helm now, yeah, nothing but excitement for that Purdue team. They're looking good and they have an incredible leader
Yeah,
guiding them.
absolutely. But yeah, that's everything. So we appreciate it if anybody goes back and actually